Hello and welcome to another episode of Stock Shots. Please remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just giving my opinion based on some things I see, like support and resistance, supply and demand, and of course, some indicators that may be on the screen. So always do your own due diligence. Make sure you educate yourself and always look to the left because we're looking at things that have already happened. Think about what things may do in the future. So this is another episode of Stock Shots. Welcome.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Stock Shocks. And of course, we're starting off with our favorite fund. It is the C fund. And as you can see, we had a huge gap up to the upside. So at this point, I'm confirmed. I'm looking to go higher. All right, my next place I'm looking to go is 61.48. For me, that's the next place I want to look at, only because that's the last high. C funds looking good in the weekly time frame. So every time I go over a stock here, it's going to be in the weekly. Unless I'm looking at something a little bit more granular, I'll go back to something like a daily, maybe the 4 hour. But that'll be the least, like the smallest time frame I'll go into. But let's move on to the S fund. Now, in the S fund, same exact story. I'm looking to go up. The next place is 2288. We got some good moves here, and we want to make sure it continues in this way. So, one of the ways you can look and see if a move is going to continue, you can use a trend line. This trend line can be your guideline. All right. If it breaks that trend line to the downside, meaning if this price action goes sideways or breaks this to the downside, hits one of these levels and does not go back up, that means it's probably going to go down. So you want to make sure when you see a trend line break, you get confirmation to either cut in that fund or add. So that's up to you. I'm not giving you any financial advice this time, but that's something that I would look at. Now, we've covered the C and the S, and they've both been looking great. So let's now go to the bond fund. So in the bond fund, it is looking like it wants to do nothing. All right, it's in the middle, but is essentially going down. It's under all the moving averages here. It's moving to the downside. I would look for it to get to at least this $96.49 range. And then if it's going to go further to the downside, there is a gap down there at the $95.95 area. So for the bonds, ain't looking too hot. It may just be a continuation of what we already had, which was this major downturn. We had a pop up, and we might be continuing that downturn. We got to see. Now, the last one is the International Fund. This one has been doing pretty well. And for this week, it did the same thing. I'm looking for it to go up here to around the $88.70 area. And that will end this week on Stock Shot. It's a short one because a lot of things are going good, not a lot of explanation. I was looking for these areas to be hit in a lot of these funds, for specifically the C and S fund. These areas right here where price was moving but not moving. So a doji candle, meaning it's a lot of volume but not a lot of movement. If we had rejected there, I would have been like, okay, well, it's time for us to keep on moving to the downside and look for a lower low. At this point, we have jumped up and it looks like we're probably going to hit a higher high. At that point, though, you need to be aware. If you do not know what divergence is, I want you to look that up, do your own due diligence. You may have divergence in the RSI, meaning that your price action may be higher from previous highs, but your strength in the market could be lower than that previous high. So if you don't know what that is, guess what? We got videos about that too. And it's on our YouTube channel. We also have a book that can help you learn, and there's plenty of videos. So give it a like for all this free analysis, and we'll see you next week on Stock